Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about the latest episode of Married to Medicine. How would you rate this episode? I personally felt like it was a 5, in my opinion. I didn't really feel like so much happened that was interesting enough for us to talk about. But then because I've been consistent over here and I'm just like, let me come here, talk to you guys about this. Let me know what you would rate it in the comment section below. So the episode basically began with they were at the ranch in Orlando. Phaedra was talking about people getting along and almost like setting the intentions for the trip, talking about positive affirmations. I feel like Phaedra in this season is given peacemaker, and I'm not really sure how to take that because I'm not used to her playing peacemaker on a show, especially someone that used to watch her from Real Housewives of Atlanta. This feels like a different Phaedra to me. Now, I know sometimes when you are interacting with certain people that are not your people, the way you interact could be so different and you probably just don't get along that well with them. So they see a different side of you than what other people would see. Because at least with Real Housewives, it was her and Portia were a team and they got along so well and could bounce off each other really, really well. And it was just fun to watch on our screens. I'm just ready for Phaedra to be back over on Real Housewives of Atlanta because I don't think she fits very well with the cast on Married to Medicine. Now, Toya basically gets into it. Toya decides to bring it up to Phaedra that she doesn't feel like she knows enough about her. And she's known her for a year and she just wants to get to know her. Of course, Phaedra is trying to figure out what is it that she's trying to know. So Toya is like, she's trying to understand like what pisses Phaedra off and that. She just wants to basically get to know her. Phaedra was being very cagey. She was not responding to that. She wasn't really engaging with that. And Dr. Heavenly was like, well, basically, so you can use it against her. Now, I know that is probably not Toya's intention, but that always happens with these people on reality TV shows. If you confide in anybody, let's use Contessa and Heavenly as an example. Contessa was telling Heavenly everything. And Heavenly used it on her reviews and recaps on her show. So it's like, don't say anything that you are not prepared for it to get out. But at the same time, I understand where Toya is coming from when it comes to Phaedra. I feel like I like Phaedra from Real Housewives of Atlanta. But for the people on Married to Medicine, I'm sure the viewers are probably wondering, like, where is Phaedra? Who is Phaedra? We need a little bit more. And I just don't think she is really showing that on the season. I also think it's odd that everyone feels the same way, or at least majority of them feel the same way, and nobody backed Toya up in that moment. It's interesting that Dr. Heavenly said nothing, but in her confessionals, it was clear that she agrees with Toya. And she feels like Phaedra doesn't really say anything or share anything with the group. So I just found it odd that Heavenly didn't say it then. In a way, I'm just thinking, is Heavenly scared of Phaedra? Is it one of those things where Heavenly knows that Phaedra is on the good graces with Bravo and doesn't want to piss them off? I just don't understand why Heavenly didn't say anything in that moment, at least. It's almost felt like Heavenly hasn't really been saying much to Phaedra until when it became clear that Phaedra would no longer be on Married to Medicine because she's now back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I just think it's very odd. You may not like Toya's approach, but at least Toya is saying something and calling it out. And I also think that if Toya was not on this episode, I don't know what would have happened. Probably nothing. I do feel like Phaedra is slightly delusional in this group. She was saying like she feels like she's had great conversations with people in the group. But then Heavenly is saying Toya's a messy bee, but she does speak the truth sometimes because everyone feels like Phaedra is a fake bee. So, but Toya is the only one calling it out. So it seems like everyone on the show has been talking on the sly privately about Phaedra, but Toya is the only one that is actually coming to the forefront to talk about it. And that's what I don't like. I feel like to have a balanced conversation, it would have been nice if the other ladies had chimed in, especially when they feel the same way. You don't have to gang up on her or anything, but at least adding some validation to what Toya said, because now it currently looks like Toya is trying to come for Phaedra when that is not the case. It is simply her saying the things that you guys have privately discussed about Phaedra. These are the moments where I feel like the ladies are not really putting in the work. I don't know if it's because they have a career outside of that and they don't want to do too much, but I feel like they need to be clocking in my opinion. If you're still listening to this video, I want you to like this video. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already. And don't forget to rate the episode. Now let's get back into the video. I do feel like Married to Medicine is starting to lose its thing. Right? Like, of course, I've always loved Mariah and I wish Mariah's on the episodes and on the seasons. But I feel like it's starting to lose its razzle dazzle, in my opinion. I'm actually finding it more boring than I ever had. So the last episode, I wasn't keen on it. This episode, I felt was boring as well. And I'm just like, if this is what the season is going to look like, then this is such a waste of my time. I do feel like the doctors on the show are not clocking in my opinion. I feel like they need to get more married to medicine, i.e. the wives on the show, who are either... They don't necessarily have to be housewives. They could be people who are married to doctors, but actually also have their own lives. But I think they also should find a stay-at-home mom as well to balance it, because I feel like sometimes the way they come at Toya and throw little jabs at her sometimes, I feel like it all stems from her being a stay-at-home mom. And I'll come back to that in a second, because there is something I really want to talk about when it comes to saying that Toya has no substance. But we will talk about that in a second. In terms of the rooms and stuff, it looked okay. Like, at least everyone had their own private living quarters. Now, I will say, like, it didn't come across as any 5-star stuff, but it was all right. I do understand, like, ladies who feel like, oh, it's not really their kind of trip, because I think for me, it probably wouldn't be. However, I'm also that kind of person who would be like, I'm here now, I'm going to have a blast regardless and make do with whatever it is that's in front of me. The part where Dr. Simone and Dr. Heavenly were talking about Phaedra just annoyed me, because I was like, you guys could have told her that. You guys could have said that when Toya brought it up, but you guys didn't. Now you guys are having a sidebar conversation about it without Phaedra being included. I just think there's no need for that. You guys could have said that when you had the opportunity to, but you didn't. Let's talk about Dr. Jackie saying that Toya lacks substance. Now, first of all, how it all started was Dr. Simone was telling Toya that she's her accountability partner, and was bringing up how she was complaining that that during Quad's party, she was complaining that they were boring and fake. And Toya was basically explaining in her confessionals that she doesn't do fake-ish, and that she felt very uncomfortable with the conversation. So Toya goes ahead to tell Dr. Simone that she can see herself calling Heavenly fake and can see herself calling Jackie boring. Jackie basically responded, and she's talking about, well, we can see you calling you lack of substance. Like, okay. And then it looks like everyone was acting like Dr. Jackie went too far. Now, my thing is this. 2 things. From outside looking in, if you say I'm boring, I should be able to clap back and call you what I think you are. You don't have to agree with it, but I don't know why everyone is acting like Dr. Jackie went too far, basically saying that Toya lacks substance. Now, do I agree with her? No. But then, based on what the show is showing us, I don't see how Jackie went too far. The way Dr. Heavenly was making it seem, the way Dr. Simone was making it seem, those things are making me wonder, did Dr. Jackie say something else that was edited out? Because even Toya said she deserves an apology. And here's the thing. If you guys notice, Toya is not sensitive about people calling her different things. Like, people have talked about her being a tennis person. She ain't have no issues about it. Like, I just feel like Toya don't be... And even when people apologize, she lets it go, and that's the end of it. Like, Quad pretty much accused her and her husband of staging a robbery, and yet she's forgiven her and she's cool with Quad. So I don't think that saying that Toya lacks substance would be so dramatic for everyone, and everyone would be acting like what Dr. Heavenly did was so bad. So that's why I'm saying, is there something else that we're not seeing? Because as you guys know, they give Dr. Jackie the good edits. And I'm sure it's because Dr. Jackie is like the poster child for the Black OBGYN who has celebrity clients. So I feel like that's pretty much why they always give her good edits. I don't know what agreement she has with Bravo, but maybe she's told them, you guys can't make me look crazy. I'm a doctor out here with celebrity patients and I want to keep my practice right, okay? So she began the good edits, in my opinion. So I do wonder if she said something else that required an apology. I do think it was very weird in terms of Heavenly and Sweet Tea. Now, I know Sweet Tea and Heavenly don't get along. There's been so much back and forth with it. Heavenly apologized as she always apologizes. She would apologize and then throw some other backhanded comments as well, which I thought was just weird, because if you're apologizing to me and in this next vein talking about my husband allegedly cheating, then you are not remorseful. You are not apologetic. And I don't know, that apology is BS. You have to take it and shove it in the trash, because I will not be accepting that. So I don't blame Sweet Tea for not accepting that apology. That apology was shy. And I'm surprised that Simone was basically making it seem like Sweet Tea needs to suck up to Heavenly. That really annoyed me. I like you, Simone. I like you, girl. But I don't know why you think it's okay for Sweet Tea to basically tolerate Heavenly if Heavenly is talking to her like that. Now, Simone is right about one thing. If you go low, Heavenly is going lower. I even thought she was going to say Heavenly will go to hell. But yeah, I do think that. I feel like it should be more them saying to Heavenly, that was not a genuine apology. You cannot apologize and in the same vein basically make it seem like her husband is cheating on her. That is not right. You either say you're sorry and be done with it, or you don't say you're sorry at all. I do feel like there's an element of them feeling like Sweet Tea is so young and that she needs to suck up to the others, but she doesn't need to suck up to the others. She doesn't need to do all of that. Now, I do wish that Sweet Tea would speak up a little bit more for herself on the show. But the thing is, maybe she is, and it's just being edited. I guess we'll never know. Let's talk about Quad trying to play peacemaker between Contessa and Dr. Heavenly. Now, I will say during the scene, it looked like Dr. Heavenly did not want to have the conversation. Contessa looks like she didn't want to have the conversation either. I feel like it would have been better off if Quad had called them separately, as opposed to everybody sitting at the bonfire. What can you expect to come out of a group setting that would be positive? Most times it never is. So if you wanted to, you should have had a private conversation and said, you know what, Contessa, Heavenly, let's sit over here and talk. But you didn't do that. So I'm not surprised that she didn't get the reaction that she was hoping for. I will say, though, that it is a bit rich coming from Quad, considering she still has some unsettled business with Dr. Simone. I would have expected her to at least have that conversation first, resolve that, then say, Contessa and Heavenly, you guys see Simone and I are good. We've squashed it. You guys, we really think you guys should talk. You guys have always been a friend. That would have landed better than poking your mouth in other people's business when you haven't handled yours. And I do feel like that's what Contessa meant. Well, I think this whole Contessa and Heavenly beef is being played on for Contessa to get a check. Absolutely. Not to say that there isn't beef there, but I feel like this is something they could have squashed. They've hogged twice now on the show. Why can't they just sit down and talk about it like adults? And from the looks of the new episode coming up next week, you can see that they almost even got into a fight. I just don't know what would happen that could amplify the beef between Contessa and Heavenly since time has passed. Usually when time passes, the anger reduces or should reduce. So when you guys physically see it's a conversation Most people, you can't even remember what was done. But it's like, I feel like Contessa's storyline is the beef with Heavenly. So it's going to be a beef again this whole season. I really hope they can squash it because I'm tired of the beefing. I also didn't like how Dr. Heavenly was trying to minimize the relationship that she did have with Contessa. I will say sometimes when you are over somebody, it's easier to not see the impact that they made in your life at any point. So I understand how that can happen, but I do think that it did seem like a genuine relationship. However, Heavenly just did not know how to keep her mouth shut, in my opinion, and said too much, and Contessa was upset. I think Contessa is one of those people that will tell you so much but expect you to still not say anything, not judge her for her choices to stay in the relationship, not look at her marriage differently. That is a hard ask. Honestly, it is. Because you can't tell me all of this and then expect me to act like your marriage is perfect in public when I'm being asked. It is a very, very tough ask. Not everyone can do that. The one thing I realized that I forgot to mention was I personally feel like Toya has substance, and I'm tired of it being made to seem that she doesn't. Toya could have excelled in her career. She gave us some context about some of her previous jobs when she was speaking to Eugene. I think it was the last episode. So she could have excelled in something else. She could have done that, but she chose to raise her children and be a stay-at-home wife. I don't think that that is a choice that should be looked down upon. I feel like the girlies in this group wish that they had a man that was as supportive as Dr. Eugene, a man that allows them to live the soft life whilst the man works hard to take care of their family, a man that gives them the option to decide whether or not they want to work. I feel like that is what it is about. You can't say that she doesn't have substance. Let's not forget when she was having to prove that she had books and she had other ways of making income outside of the show. I personally think that's ridiculous. Even if she had nothing else outside of the show than being a stay-at-home wife and mother, looking at the way those children interact should let you know that she did a good job. So I don't think it is great to minimize it and make it seem like she doesn't have any substance. Let's not forget, we've also seen her trying to run the wine business and having enough sense to bring an attorney with her. The meeting, aka Phaedra. We've seen her host a trip. You may not like her life, but I don't think it's right to say she doesn't have substance, because I don't think that is true. I think that yes, she may not be a doctor, but that does not minimize who she is. And I wish that she herself would believe that and stand on that, because I feel like the girls have played with her for too long. And I wish she would come out and call them out, because they like to make jokes about her tennis. Girl, if you guys would love to live the soft life, then make sure you are with people who allow you to live the soft life. She chose right. And she is living her life and enjoying herself with somebody who chooses to do right by her. And I feel like that's where a lot of the shadiness comes from when it comes to the castmates. That is what I think about it. I am curious to see what the next episode will be like. It does seem like that's where it gets interesting. So I would be looking forward to that. I did also like Toya getting the girls together, inspecting their outfits. I loved that. I love seeing Toya having a project and being able to run with it. I really, really enjoyed it. The way she was getting the girls together. She told Phaedra, be ready in 13 minutes. I'm like, all right, girl, you better tell them. Anyway, I feel like that was all that happened on this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to rate the episode and let me know why you gave it that rating. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent, what would you rate it? Let me know in the comment section below. As you guys know, I rated a 5 for the reasons that I've said throughout this video. Everyone, don't forget to let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And also turn on all your notifications so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.